sparkah.com/marketing. SPARKAH.com/marketing. How to get to page 1 of Google. This is going to be an industry insider trade secret. Just one. And it's one that we use all the time, and I'm even going to give you an example of where we used it and how we used it. And yes, it is on page 1 of Google, and it's the #1 ranking result. #1 or 2 at the last time we checked. Because this is an industry trade secret, if you're not a regular subscriber to our YouTube channel or our Twitter, I'd appreciate it if you just didn't watch this video, because that basically means you're probably a competitor. But if you are a regular subscriber, please do feel free to digest, and I'm going to ask you for a favor. Would you do me a favor and give me a thumbs up on this video? I think it's down here or down there. It helps us get discovered, and it helps people like you find this information. So, I know I've built it up. I'm not going to disappoint you. This is the trade secret. You've got to get people to link to your content, and your content has to be fresh. It has to be constantly updated in order for you to hit page 1 of Google. That's a no-brainer, right? I'm going to show you how to do it and how we did it. As far as the content freshness, if you didn't know that, not many people do know this, but what's always on page 1 of Google at the very, very top for any search? Wikipedia, right? You know how many times Wikipedia gets edited per day? Several times. Probably 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 50 times a day. You know how you can tell? Make a change and then ask Wikipedia to show you the revisions for that day. There's strings and strings and strings of people adding content, taking content away, editing. That's freshness. Google wants to be relevant. Google wants to be fresh. And so ask yourself the question, Wikipedia is #1 on page 1 of Google for every single search because it's fresh. When's the last time you updated your website, your blog post, that you're trying to get to page 1 of Google? Okay, so I've driven that point home. Now, how do you get people to link to your page and keep the page fresh all in one fell swoop? Real simple. Let's use this as an example. Go to Google and do a search for top 100 InfoSec consultants. Top 100 InfoSec consultants. It's going to be #1 on page 1. InfoSec is short for information security. It's the network security guys that make sure that your government or an industrial espionage guy or a competitor doesn't steal your information, your bank account numbers, and all that. That's what information security InfoSec is. So do a search for that. It'll come up page 1, #1. You can even do a search for top InfoSec consultants. You might even be able to do a search for InfoSec consultants and still have it come up on page 1 of Google. We're not done tweaking it yet, but I'll tell you how and why we're using that example. It's already on page 1 of Google under several of those searches that I just mentioned. How we did it? At the very, very top of that blog post, there's an overt, explicit secret. At the very top, it says, "You've heard the latest. If you haven't, go to," and I listed 2 guys. I listed one guy that works for the New York Times, and I listed another guy that works for, I believe it's Forbes, or Fast Company, or Fortune, one of those that starts with an F. You know how many different guys I've put in there? I'll tell you what I mean. You only see, just like Wikipedia, when you go to Wikipedia, you only see a static page. When you come to our blog post, you only see one page. You only see 2 guys listed in the very top of that blog post, right? There's already been several change-outs. What do I mean by that? I have a list internally of people I'd love to get a link from. I have a list internally of people that are already on page 1 of Google for the term InfoSec. Just InfoSec. Gets tons of traffic because it's just one word and it's the header. It's the topical keyword for that entire industry of information security. And these guys are getting, they're billing more than law firms. They're billing $10,000 to $20,000, $30,000 per hour to be able to try and hack into corporate network systems and then tell the CEO and the CTO how they hacked into their network and what information they were able to steal, so that the CEO of the company, of a Fortune 500 company, can patch that wall up, build a better firewall, basically. I have a list of these guys, and I'm putting two at a time at the very top of my blog post. Then I'm saying, hey, Joe, guess what? I mentioned you in my blog post. If I get a response back, then what I'll do is I'll ask him to link to it. If he does not link to my blog post, guess what happens to his name and his link that's in my blog post, my website, my YouTube video? Gone. He's out. I will mention him and give him the courtesy of being in my blog post for 2, 3, 4 days or whatever, just long enough for him to decide whether or not he wants to reciprocate, quid pro quo, and give me back what I gave him. If he doesn't, guess what? I'm the admin. I'm the guy that wrote that blog post, right? You're the admin of your blog. You're the admin of your e-commerce website, of your... You see where I'm going with this? Create a list, go through that list, and if someone reciprocates and links back to you, click. He's in like Flynn. He's golden. You just cement him, you put the cement boots on him, and you just drop them into the river of traffic that is your blog post. And you go down the line. You keep, every blog needs to be that recirculative. Don't mention someone hoping that maybe they'll link back to you and never check back. If they haven't linked back to you, ditch them, throw them away, and then keep doing this until, now that particular blog post, we've mentioned over 100 people. You know how many people we mentioned? We mentioned 250 people. And I've said that it's the top 100. Guess what? Nobody counts how many people are on that page. I could have used a simple LI tag or a UL tag that would automatically number them 1 to... And then they'd say, wait a second, there's 250 people in this list of top 100 people. You know why I did that? It's because only about 10% of the people, 15% of the people that I mentioned will link to that particular blog post. What's going to happen to the rest of those 250 people? You know what we're going to do to them. They're not going to be in that list anymore. This is why I say this is an industry trade secret blog post. But think of it this way. If they're not interested or excited enough to link to you because you did them a favor of mentioning them or featuring them in your blog, taking the time out of your life to do them a favor, if they're not going to return the favor, they're not necessarily that interested in the favor in the first place, so they're not going to mind if you pull them out. So no harm done in either case, but you know who comes out on top? You do. Because you've got a page full of people that linked back to your page if you're willing to put the hard work in and do 50, 60, 70 revisions on your page, which is what will drive you to page 1 of Google. If you need help with your Google SEO, contact us. Our team of PR specialists know exactly what we're doing, and we can get you to page 1 of Google under literally any term. I don't care if it's the most complicated term. It may just take a while and require lots of resources, but we can do it for any term you're targeting. You can reach us at sparka.com/SEO. And if you're a blogger and you enjoyed this particular blog post, I want to do you a favor. I'll give you one of our premium executive videos for free. They range from $200 to $500 per blog post or per trade secret video. We have several trade secrets, and they're all up at sparka.com/shop, SPARKAH.com/shop. Pick one. I'll give it to you for free if you just do me the favor of mentioning me in your blog. But the link that I want mentioned, you'll find at the very top of sparka.com/SEO. Go there, you'll see a link to a YouTube playlist. And my goal is to get that YouTube playlist on number 1 of Google for the term SEO. Pretty ambitious, right? But with your help, we can do it, and I want to pay you back for your help. I'll give you a video for free, and I'll even help promote your blog or website for free. Looking forward to teaming up with you. Long haul.